everyone to check it out, the library talk show that lets you know what's going on in and around the Bethel Park Public Library. We're your hosts, Elaine Volpe
and Christine McIntosh.
And what do we have going on in the month of March, Christine?
Well, March is starting our spring programs. Winter has finally, almost come to an end.
Not quite.
So we have some exciting spring programs happening. The first will be on Tuesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. This is landscape design, and we have someone from the Landscape Center by Ivanovich coming. It's always a very popular program. We usually get about 70 people, so be sure to sign up for that. In this program, you'll learn to design and shape your shrubbery beds, use heights and shapes to elongate your home, and coordinate textures, colors, and flower patterns. So again, that's Tuesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, March 6th at 7 p.m., we have a fitness class. This one is called CX Works. It is a 30-minute moderate to high intensity core challenging workout. So I need that. But you're asked to wear comfortable clothing and shoes, and this class is part of a series that's being presented by St. Clair Fitness. So Tuesday, March 6th at 7. And Friday, March 7th at 10 a.m., Rob will be teaching a Windows 8 laptop class. So if you're unsure what a Charms bar is and what the Metro interface might be, as I am.
I've never heard of a Charms bar.
Come to this class. You can learn the new Microsoft operating system. You must bring your own Windows 8 laptop. We currently are not running Windows 8 and won't be for some time. So we ask that you bring your laptop with Windows 8 installed. Seating is limited, so please register. And Rob is a fantastic teacher. He still shows me stuff about I thought I knew about, and turns out that I don't know as much as I did.
And he is a great teacher because he's so patient.
He is very patient.
I have a lot of questions, and sometimes they're the same questions over and over again. He doesn't lose his patience with me.
He's very used to that. Tuesday, March 11th at 7 o'clock, we have our Pittsburgh South Writers Group. This is a monthly group. They meet to provide inspiration and constructive criticism to inspiring writers. They welcome authors of all genres, so if you want to come to that on Tuesday, March 11th at 7, you're more than welcome to do so. This is a very interesting one. I know some people that are having some difficulty with the Affordable Care Act and registering for health insurance.
Yes.
So we have on Thursday, March 13th at 1 p.m., so it's an afternoon program. It's Affordable Care Act 101. So you'll learn about the insurance reform law and the new choices that now we have, and find out how you and your family can be covered during the open enrollment period, which I believe runs through the end of March if there's no changes from the legislature. But we will have certified application counselors from the Pennsylvania Health Access Network. They're called PHAN, P-H-A-N. They'll be here at the library to assist folks who need help figuring out what their options are to apply for coverage at healthcare.gov. I have a friend that's been trying to submit his application since January, and it keeps coming up that there's an error.
Very frustrating.
It is very frustrating. He's not a patient man, so hopefully he'll get a chance to come here. We do ask that you reserve a spot. For individual assistance, there will be a limited number of spots, but it's also an overview of what's going on with the Affordable Health Care Act. That is, again, on Thursday, March 13th at 1 p.m. We have an interesting program coming up about trumpets. Rob comes up with some of the coolest things.
He really does.
So this will be Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. It's called Hornicopia, A Trumpet Journey. So it'll be a presentation and a mini concert that will surprise, delight, and give insight into the history of the trumpet, from like medieval to modern age, and from the Far East to the West. Yes. The program's presented and performed by a professional symphony trumpeter and soloist. His name is Donald Duncan. I don't know how Rob finds these people or if they find Rob, but it'll prove to be, I think, a very interesting program. So that is, again, Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. And the following day, Wednesday, March 19th at 7 p.m., we have a photography presentation by Vincent Pugliese. He's an international award-winning sports photographer, but he's based here out of Pittsburgh. And his idea was to photograph professional sports in every stadium and arena in the United States. So he's almost finished, and he's going to put that all together into a book. But he's going to be here to share his photographs, tell stories about his journeys from these different sports venues, and answer questions for the audience. So he does have images like on Getty, Getty Images, and many magazines and things that you have seen. You would recognize some of his photos.
Excellent.
Wednesday, March 19th at 7. And finally, and I love this. I love this person. This is the grammar nerd, Cindy Bagovich.
Have we had her here before?
We have had her here before,
Oh, okay.
and the Almanac did a big feature story about her when she was here last time. So this is quick fixes for everyday grammar blunders. Again, presented by Cindy Bagovich. She's known as the grammar nerd.
I love it.
I know. So it's not like an English class. You're not going to be diagramming and conjugating, and but it is a review of common everyday grammar blunders that are used across industries. And
I wonder what she would say would be the one that I see the most often is the misused apostrophe.
Misused apostrophe drives me
drives
crazy.
Me insane.
I have on my phone pictures of misused apostrophes places, and I post them.
You started
collecting
them. Yeah,
because it
they're
drives me
everywhere.
crazy.
Yeah.
Cases of pop. Cases of Pepsi, $4.99. CASE apostrophe S. Drives me absolutely crazy.
Yes. I bet you that is the most popular. I'd be interested in asking her.
Sydney will review common grammatical blunders, and you'll learn how to identify these errors, and she'll give you some tools that will help you eliminate them from your grammar arsenal. Kristen Rama, who was our guest a few months ago, always yells at me that I misuse commas.
Oh, really? You overuse them?
I overuse commas.
I've been told the same thing.
Yes.
Actually.
So I think maybe I will go, because it seems like a comma should be there, and then Kristen's like, no, a comma doesn't go there. She was an English major. I was a psych major, so she's very particular. We used to work together, so... okay, so the Grammar Nerd will be here Wednesday, March 26th at 7 p.m. That was a popular program when she was here. I don't know if it was a year or a year and a half ago. So I'm hoping to get here that night. But I have Citizens Police Academy on Wednesday.
Oh,
so
you don't want to miss that.
No, I don't want to miss that. It's
having a good time with that.
It is really informative and fun. Just one announcement that I wanted to make. The library is in the process of getting new software to circulate the books to you, basically. We had the first phase of the implementation in February, and the final step will happen in March, from Saturday through Monday, March 22nd through the 24th. The library will be closed Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the 22nd, the 23rd, and 24th, and we will not open until 1 p.m. on Tuesday, the 25th. And we'll have the new circulation system live, but we need time to make sure that it comes up properly, and also to check in all the materials that will be backlogged and in our book drops that we will be here emptying over the weekend. And also we get daily delivery of like 20 bins of books to give out to you, things that you request from around the county. So we need time, because the delivery will still be coming, and we need time to get that all sorted out. So we will not open it until 1 p.m. on Tuesday, the 25th. So that will also be on our website, our Facebook page.
And that's important for everybody to know, because Rob probably was more careful about planning programs. We actually had scheduled our story time, so that's important for all you parents of little ones to remember, because there will be no Giggle and Wiggle that day, and there will be no art club that evening. So
no art club that evening. Oh my gosh, I can't. Carla will kill me. There will still be tax preparation that day. Even though the library is closed, we will still have tax on Tuesday, March 25th from 10 until 2. So even though we don't need the computer system to help you with your taxes. So you may have to sit out in the hall, but there will be tax preparers here that day. So that's all I have for adult stuff.
All right. Well, I can take it over from here then. I'm actually going to start with some tween and teen programs. Have you noticed how popular owls are?
I love owls.
I do too, but I've seen some really cool owl jewelry, but now you just see them everywhere. Like they have, kitchen towel, everything.
One of my 1-minute book recommendations was on Wesley the Owl, a love story of a barn owl and his girl. So.
I I didn't ever hear of that book.
It's
Is it a
very
newer
good.
book?
No, it actually
Oh.
isn't. It's from 2008, but it's one of my favorites. So.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so owls are very popular, and we're offering a team program called Night Owls, where you'll get to join us for a night of owl crafting fun.
I'll be there.
Heather has a lot of neat ideas of things that you can make. It's for grades 5th and up, and it's Tuesday, March 11th at 8 p.m. A little bit later than we normally schedule our programs. That's why we called it Night Owls. So you can stay up a little bit past your bedtime. It'll just be 45 minutes to an hour, so you'll be out of here at 9 when the library closes. We're also offering a scavenger hunt for teens and tweens because, as you know, is it the first week? March 9th through 15th is Teen Tech Week.
Oh, yes.
So we have prepared a scavenger hunt for you to partake in. You'll need to bring your iPod or your iPhone because a lot of the clues, I think most of the clues, are with those QR codes.
Oh, wonderful.
So in honor of Teen Tech Week, where you're going to use your device, either your iPod or your iPhone, to come find the clues, solve the clues. If you finish completely, you will be entered into a raffle drawing. Not sure what we're giving away yet, so we'll keep that a surprise, but there is a chance to win something. And it's just a lot of fun, and you're going to familiarize yourself with the library because we're sending you all over. You might know, you're probably familiar with the children's department. You might be now familiar with young adult books where those are upstairs, but you probably don't know where everything in the library is located. So we're going to really take you all around.
That's a great idea.
So that's March 9th through 15th. You don't have to register, you just stop in anytime, and we'll have the information there for you. Doing Family Feud, but it's early in March, so I don't even know if this will air, but I'm really excited for Monday, March 3rd, Friendly Feud. We've been surveying a lot of different people, a lot of different librarians, gathering their answers, and we're going to have you guess the most popular results.
I had so
Did
much
you take
fun.
the survey?
I took the survey,
Okay.
and I was having so much fun because I was trying to think like a teen, which isn't too hard for me. So some of them I put in like some off color. What I know the teen boys especially would have answered.
Right.
So
well, good.
But I
Good.
put a message to Beth at the end, said, haha, this is for me, because it's anonymous. I told her who it was from, so she would
I can
know.
only imagine what kind of responses you posted there, Christine. Oh, dear. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So that's early in March. It's Monday, March 3rd. Still time to register. Again, grades 5 and up. So a lot of fun stuff for tweens and teens. Then for our little ones, all of our regular story time is still happening. Giggle and Wiggle is going on. We have Little Hands Art, which will be in April. We already have a long list there, but I think there's still a few spots left for that. That'll be Mondays in April. And then we have Spanish story time starting in Saturdays in April. I'm just giving a little sneak peek. So everything's still running through March, but then coming up in April, we have a Spanish story time. And they say the best time to learn a new language is when you're young.
Yes, indeed.
Kids, their little minds are like sponges and they
Who's
absorb.
doing Spanish story time?
I'm going to do Spanish story time.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah, of course it is. No, I was just wondering who spoke enough Spanish.
Yeah.
on
I don't
staff.
consider myself fluent anymore, but certainly I know enough to teach the young ones. And we're going to do it where we actually read a couple stories in Spanish as well as in English. And we're just doing basic vocabulary, a lot of great songs out there. Because singing is a great, to help you remember tool too. So we'll be doing some songs and some rhymes, learning the basic vocabulary, and sharing some really neat stories, both in Spanish and in English. So I'm excited to do that. That's going to run Saturdays in April at 10 a.m. That's for the wee little ones. And then we have our elementary school, our elementary age crowd. And what do we have coming up for those guys? We have a Magic Tree House Club for anybody still reading Magic Tree House. That's a book that, I know preschoolers who have started that, reading it with their parents, and then I still know 3rd and 4th graders who enjoy that series, and there's so many of them, and it is really a great series. So Magic Tree House is open to anybody K through 4. You're going to read Leprechaun in Late Winter with Miss Jackie. You'll actually do the reading in class. You don't have to read it beforehand. You'll come read it together, talk about it, discuss, and then I think she has a couple of neat activities scheduled for you guys as well. Lynn's doing the Disaster Club in March, Tuesdays in March at 7 p.m. This is where you're going to explore different, world disasters such as the Titanic, the Challenger. I think she's going to do the Johnstown flood since that's kind of close to home. So a neat little way to discover more about these natural disasters, how they happen, and the effects that they had on the people. So that's Tuesdays in March again. Pokemon is filling up fast. But if you're a Pokemon fanatic, go ahead and give us a call. We'll add your name to the list. That's going to be Tuesdays in March at 6 p.m. And then also just a sneak peek, we're doing a game club Sundays in April at 2 p.m. old games and new games. There's some really cool new games out because I love board games.
I love board games
and I
too.
work part-time at Learning Express at the Galleria, so I'm always keeping my eye out for like the newest games. But then we're bringing back some of the old ones too. So if you just want to come play board games with your family or your friends, drop by on a Sunday afternoon in April. Everything again, I know that's a mouthful, but everything again is on our flyers, which are available at the desk, and it's also available online. So if I mention something that you think you might be interested in, go ahead and log on to our website, find our flyer, and you can find out more about it and how to register. So
coming up next, we have Mr. Steve Korpa, who is teaching art classes here at the library. He's a very interesting man, so
yes.
I'm looking forward to talking with him. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the show. We have with us today Mr. Steve Korpa, who was a high school level teacher at Carrick High School for a number of years, and is here at the library teaching drawing classes for people. But another interesting part about Mr. Korpa is that he is legally blind. He has macular degeneration.
That's
so
right.
welcome to the show, Mr.
Thanks.
Korpa. It's very nice to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I go back as far as being 5 or 6 years old and having the blessing of my parents providing me with paper and pencil and crayons and paint and more or less supporting the idea of me being visually oriented. And I just, from that early time, continued to draw because I just loved it, and it satisfied me. And in no small way, it set me aside from others, and they recognized me early as being sort of good at art. And so all the way through elementary school and then high school, I was sort of the guy. I was the art guy, and recognized that way. So it was a natural progression for me to just go on to school. I went to Edinburgh and graduated in '63. In that year, I started my teaching career at Overbrook, at that time junior high and elementary. And then I matriculated up to Carrick, which was a feeder school of Overbrook. From an interesting point of view, I had some handful of students from 5th grade through 12th grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really, my teaching career spanned over 35 years, and at retirement, the same year in '97, I was diagnosed with the beginnings of macular degeneration, and it's progressed to where I have no central vision at all, and I can't read or drive, so I still do my artwork.
What is, I hear that term, macular degeneration. Can you just talk a little bit about what that is?
I, like you, didn't know anything about it until my ophthalmologist said, I think you have the beginnings of macular degeneration, and then I was instructed as to what it is. The macula is the richest part of the eye itself, the retina, which contains rods and cones in a very densely packed area around the optic nerve, is the most sensitive to vision and detail. With macular degeneration, it is the degeneration of these cells, and these cells slowly die over time. So only the central part of vision, which is, I call it the bullseye and the target of sight, is affected. But that is a significant part, because your peripheral vision, although I'm not in darkness, your peripheral vision is not nearly as accurate and acute as your central vision. For instance, I'm looking at you, I can't see your face, but I see everything else around me. I know where I am.
Right.
I just could not, if I look away, I see you, but I couldn't recognize you.
Okay. Very interesting. How does having macular degeneration affect your work as an artist?
Well, I've discovered that there's a lot more to sight than vision by itself. There are enormous resources of history of having been fully sighted to make assumptions about what you can and can't do. The only thing that's missing for me is the joy and satisfaction of having struck a beautiful drawing and not being able to fully appreciate it.
Yeah.
It might be pretty nice, but there was a time in which I could evaluate my work and say, this is good, this is not, I can improve it this way. But I changed. I changed about, it's not that I lowered my standard so much as I adapted to what was available to me. So I continue to, in every way, be able to function and make things. I rely a great deal on touch. I can feel things and I can't make things as detailed as I once could. But I can feel, for instance, if I'm manipulating a small brooch or creating something, anything that I want, I rely a great deal on sight. I also have made myself a couple of, these are dollar store glasses because there's no prescription that can help me.
Yes.
I've fabricated a couple of 10-power lenses that if I look at something very close like this, I could actually probably read the price tag of something.
Oh, well, that's
because
good.
With magnification, the macula, the blind spot gets very small with magnification.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Lovely.
so fortunately, as I said, I'm not in darkness, and I know the difference between the refrigerator and the kitchen door.
Right, right. So you have been here in the past, too. This isn't the first time you've taught drawing classes at the library, and I know that the classes fill pretty quickly because I try and get in there, even though I can't draw a stick figure. My brother and my nephew are the ones that have that talent, but I've always wanted to draw.
Well, first of all, you can draw. You just didn't have a good teacher, somebody that cares about you and would bring you along. I believe at my core, and it is not just a made-up idea. I believe that everybody can learn to improve their drawing. Everybody can, if you can write your name, you can improve your drawing skills because the vast majority of the process of drawing happens in your head.
Okay.
It's a mental process. It's a thinking thing. The doing part in your fingers, if you, as I said, you write your signature, that qualifies enough for finger dexterity to do the drawing. The fact about somebody that can't draw as well as they'd like is that they make huge assumptions about things and make symbols of things rather than telling the visual truth. And that's what I do here at the library. I guarantee that people that come and take the class will improve their drawing. And in the process, it'll improve their life and the way that they see things and their pleasure and their enjoyment of their time that they have to make things and do things.
Well, I will make sure that I get into the next session of classes because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I was always envious that my brother seemed to have a more natural ability.
Well, there's a challenge to it, and as I say to the people that come to the class from the very beginning, if the last time you seriously tried to draw something was when you were in the 7th grade,
yes,
your
indeed.
drawing's going to look like a 7th grade drawing. You just can't be overwhelmed with disappointment about that, and your expectation cannot be so high. If you could draw as well as I can, even though I'm not fully sighted, when you first came into the class, I would actually resent that. It's been a long, hard struggle to become proficient at drawing. And my belief is and will always be now, through proof of having had student after student improve their drawing, that anybody could do this. The idea is that the drawing that you make is fundamentally to enhance your human existence, not to make a drawing that will hang in a local gallery or even a museum.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
No.
Right. But people come that way. You know, they make the assessment of their work based on the masters or Rembrandt or Degas' drawing, which is foolish in a way. But
Yeah.
And do you teach students of all ages?
I
mean,
do.
You
I
used
have.
to teach kids when you were at Carrick. Do you still
Yeah.
have any students that are, of young age or of
I
teenage?
don't have access to smaller, younger children, except with my own grandchildren, which is a joy to sit and draw and make things with them. And
Sure.
of course, I do that, and we have a very, very sweet time of it when we get together. And there's small little visual games I play with them, and I do that. I am proud as a teacher to have taught pretty much at every level. Kindergarten through 12th grade, and that's on my retirement. I was invited to teach at Duquesne, and I taught a classroom management course for 5 years there, and was very pleased to be able to put together my philosophy of managing the classroom to kids who are going to be teachers.
Absolutely.
So,
That's excellent.
From kindergarten through adult, I've had teaching experience.
That's wonderful.
And now, Christina mentioned that you also painted. Is sketching and drawing your preferred work? That's what you like to do the most?
Well, it depends on what it is that I want to make of it. Everywhere I still do this, but not to the same degree. But instead of taking photographs, I make street drawings. For instance, 2 years ago we were in Paris, and I did a small series of sketches in the street, simpler than I would under other circumstances, but still enough to convince anybody that what they were looking at was a street drawing of in Montmartre, on the artistic hill of Paris. Same in England, I'd do street drawings. In Florence, when I studied there, I would do street drawings. These are all part of my collection. They would then turn into paintings occasionally if I felt that they were something that I wanted to say about that particular thing.
Right.
And you just showed me this morning when I was talking with you something else that you're working on, which is the metal brooches.
Oh yeah, after a trip to Ireland 5 years ago, I'd always been fascinated by, and I am a metalsmith as well. This is actually what I taught in the high school, at the high school level. And when I saw the brooches in the museum in Dublin, I was just absolutely swooned with delight at how beautiful these pieces were. Over 2,000 years old. It's such a functional kind of thing to hold clothing together. When I came back, I started fashioning and making them, and I still do. It depends on my particular interest at the time, and I paint, I draw, I craft and make things that objects that would be more three-dimensional. I don't limit myself to any media, and as I said, the inability for me to see specifically is more of a challenge and a nuisance than it is. It's not a heroic thing either. It's just that I don't have any choice. I will make things.
Right. Right.
I will paint, and I will continue to draw. Yeah. And I wanted to share that fundamentally. The reason I volunteered to teach at the library is I could be in touch. I could keep my teaching chops, and at the same time share this idea of hope with people. Because when you come to my class to draw and you tell me that you have no experience and you can't draw, and I get to say to you, well, I can't see, so let's just call it even, and we'll start from there. I couldn't do that in the past, but I do now, and I do enjoy the feedback that I get from people who have participated in the class. One lady this time did have the beginnings of macular degeneration, and she confided that it was something that she never expected to get as an inspiration when she came. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Corper will also be teaching classes later on towards the summer.
In May.
In May. So I will be a student. I'm making sure I get into that class. So when we have more information, when we have the exact dates, we will certainly let you know. And thank you, Mr. Corper, for sitting with us.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And once again, we've run out of time, so there's no time to do a past program highlight, but I do want to let everybody know that Mr. Chuck Caputo, who was here in January for a fabulous magic show, we will air part of that at a separate time, and you can check the BPTV website for that local listing. But as always, if there's anything that you want to find out more information regarding, anything that we talked about on today's show, you know what to do. Go ahead and give us a call.
Or visit our website.
Or better yet, stop in and see us in person. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.